Hey guys, and welcome back to the Herbathogree. It is Easter Sunday. Happy Easter, everybody. It's early. I've got a few things to do today before we start our Easter celebrations, as it were. Um, just having my first coffee, so I am going to make a quick slug trap because it rained all yesterday evening and all last night and this morning, and I am inundated with slugs, and you really don't want them to get any of my new seedlings. So I'll be making multiple of these. But today I'm just going to knock up a small one because I've just emptied the milk making my coffee. So I've rinsed this out, and I'm just going to make a quick slug trap, while a beer slug trap that they're attracted by the smell of the beer, fall in, get drunk, can't get back out, and then they kind of drown, which is horrible. But there are plenty of other things in my garden that they can go and rest on and eat other than my leafy greens. And I only have those three little plants, so I'd like them to stay away from my leafy greens if possible. Now, I'm pretty sure I just heard the upstairs bathroom door shut, which means the little ones are going to be up very soon. Luckily, they'll have their morning routines first. Now, I love my fruit trees, and I love cherries, and you can never have too many. So I didn't get much of a harvest off my two cherry trees last year. And I saw this advert on YouTube and scanned the barcode and got me some of these bare root, apparently Mahuso cherries. It said 2-day delivery, however, it did take a week and they were so dry. So I actually popped them into soak yesterday and they've been sat overnight. So it is really time to get them in at least a small pot with some soil. They won't be staying in these pots. I haven't got out to get more soil, so I'm going to have to make do with what I've got for now. It did say on the ad that they are self-fertile, so you only need one. I mean, I do have 3 other cherry trees, but they had this great offer on where I think it was only like £4 more for a second one. So it was the 2 trees for under £40, and they do have a guarantee that if they don't survive, you'll get a full refund. Or, well, I prefer the full refund than replacing them because it is getting a bit late in the year now to be getting these in. But it does guarantee that if you plant them now, you'll apparently have fruit by May. It's April, so hey, we'll see. Now, I am going to be using mycorrhizal fungi as well to help them establish, and you do want to get it on the roots, and these are really moist right now, so it's having no problem sticking to the roots. As I said, they're not going to be in these pots for long, so I just want to cover the roots up and get them in some form of growing medium until I get more soil, and then I'll do the same and put them in those big black pots that I have all of my other fruit trees in. They seem to do really well in those as long as I top them up and I give them fertilizer frequently. I'm using a mixture of chicken pellets, seaweed fertilizer, slow release fertilizer, nettle tea, and my neighbor has bunnies, so when she cleans her coop, she brings me a big bag of the bedding, and I use that as well. So I am literally, there's like, yeah, a tiny little bit of soil in this bag, enough to at least cover the roots. But this second one seems to have a lot of roots at the bottom and then a couple at the top, and then there are bumps up that first part of the stem, which look like roots attempting. So I'm gonna need a taller pot for this one, as I do want to get all those roots covered as well as possible. See, these are grafted, so they are the variety on the top that you've got, and they're grafted onto a dwarf or columnar rootstock. So remember, when you plant them, you do not want to bury where that graft is. No soil to touch above the graft area. I'd even go about an inch under it if you can, depending on, you know, where your roots are growing. Otherwise, the section at the bottom can root and start to grow what that one was, and not the variety that's been grafted onto the top. I'm going to give them a real good water in, and then once they've drained through properly, I'm actually going to bring these into the conservatory for the first week. The conservatory is unheated, but it's sheltered, and fingers crossed within the week they will start showing signs of life, and then I'll start transitioning them out, moving them closer to the conservatory door, then the greenhouse, and then they can come out and play with their buddies, as I have lots of fruit trees. So I had to come back inside and get changed because I absolutely soaked myself. The end came off my hose and just covered me. So I'm going to have a little sulk, dry off, and have a look at the seeds that I'm going to be putting in that huge planter. I do have some salad leaves that I've already started in the greenhouse bed, but we eat a lot of them. So I'm going to do a mix, and I'm just going to pop them all in a bowl together like this. And then I'm going to sprinkle them, and we can pick them as we go. The sun went in and I'm feeling cold, so I am in my comfies. I've already set out my row for these and pre-watered it, and this is that huge bed. It's like 3 foot by 4.5 foot. So I'm going to sprinkle them in for now. I'm not being precious about it and spacing them out, as we will eat them as they come along. But I've just noticed a little guy in here who's not having the best of times. This bee, he appears to have something stuck to his legs. However, that could be the pollen. I'm not entirely sure. I've never seen a bee laden with pollen before to be able to determine if that is it, or if it's just possibly got something stuck on it. But there are no flowers in here for it right now, so we're going to take it for a little walk over to the only place that I do have flowers. Well, there are a couple of places, but if we just pop him in one of these tulips, this one here is quite open there, and then he's got some pollen in there, he's got stuff to eat, so he should be quite happy. Finish off sowing those seeds as I got distracted by Mr. B. And then this is my Easter sign for our Easter egg hunt, which we'll probably do on Tuesday now. This is the bed by the door with the arch that has some garlic in it. Now, you do need to clean this up, as, you know, no one's going to find any eggs hidden in my garden. My neighbor actually suggested that the kids wear hard hats while doing their search, which I'm not sure if that's funny or offensive, but it is what it is. So I'm just cleaning up the herb robert and stuff in this bed. Now, I am quite concerned about this garlic. I did plant it in October, so it's had a frost. It's had October, November, December, January. You know, it's had a good 6 months of growing, which is normally about the right time for garlic. But I've dug down as deep as I can, and I can't actually feel a bulb. And I know it's definitely garlic that I planted here. So I'm just going to give this a good clean up, and I'm going to leave that garlic for now because I'm not entirely sure Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'd hate to have gone through, well, I didn't really go through. All I did was put the bulbs in the ground and leave them be. But I don't want to pull them up if they're not ready. And I've got one clump that looks like it's like four together. And I know I wouldn't have planted it that way. So I am a little confused on this whole garlic situation. So I think I'm going to leave that there for now. Just give this bed a quick clean up. And I think I've got a little overconfident, but as I'm going to be protecting this bed, I think the pumpkins growing over that edge might be okay. I know that it's early, as we haven't had our last frost date, but I will be popping some protection over this, and I do have like 5 different packs of these specific pumpkins, so if these ones don't work, they don't work, it's fine. I will be starting some indoors and I can transplant them in. And then I'm going to take another risk. I have that space behind the garlic on the other side of the trellis. And again, we eat so many peas and pea shoots. So I'm going to risk planting some peas at the back there for now. Again, these seeds are so old. I think I got them for my birthday about 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Either way, they're old, they might not take, so I'm just going to plant the entire pack. I think there's like 14 in here. So I'll just plant them in a little row behind my garlic. And rather than burying them, I am going to top up this bed. It does actually have quite a lot of organic material in it, but I like to top my beds up in the beginning of spring, so I'm just going to add a 1-inch, 2-inch layer of compost, fresh compost around those peas. And a little bit around the garlic because, well, I'm not ready to harvest them yet, and some little added nutrition never goes amiss. Now typically it's just started rain hailing, but I'm still going to give these a good water in because it's not likely to rain long enough just yet. We only had like a 4% chance, and I find when it hails it's always very, very short-lived. So we'll give them a real good water in, and fingers crossed everything will germinate. And if some of it doesn't, it's okay. I did hugely overseed. And then because I know that when I don't take precautions, things go wrong, and there will most likely be at least one more frost before my last frost date, which is around the 11th of May, which strangely enough, no, yeah, 10th of May, which is actually my father's birthday. Anyway, so I've just got these really, really thin poles. I think I got them off either Temu or Shein. They didn't come with a cover though, but it's okay. I've got this sheet plastic, which really could do with a clean. But I'm only going to have this on for the first couple of weeks. Although I do find the protection is helpful, I also find that the added moisture has its drawbacks. It does attract more slugs. It can lead to root rot as it's too damp and doesn't have a chance to dry out during the day. But it's, well, Easter Sunday. We've got a few more weeks of April. I will just keep an eye on it. That's it. I cannot find the securing pegs that came with the poles absolutely anywhere. So I am just going to use some clothes pegs for this and secure it down as best I can. I'm not covering those fruit trees though, as I do want bees to be able to access them freely, as the 5 that are in here, It's only their, so I got them as 2-year-old bare roots, and I got them 3 years ago. So they're 5 years old now. Last year I did get a few fruits of the apples and the plum. They weren't very big. I have given them some extra moisture and stuff this year, as I said in my previous videos. I wasn't really about much last year, so everything was neglected. Nothing did its best. And, you know, I'm to blame. So this year I want to give them a much better chance. So I had time for one last coffee before it is time to get on with Easter Sunday. So I'm sat out by the pond in the sun, which is beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was just a short update as I was out in the garden and thought I'd show you guys what I was up to. Again, if you liked the video, please hit like, subscribe, comment down below. I do read them all and it does help, and you know, just to know whether or not you guys actually want to see these videos. Alright, thanks. I'll see you guys again soon. I'm gonna go hide some eggs.